Hey guys, welcome back to Mod and Pop Thrift. My name's Tom. I'm a full-time eBay reseller and a stay-at-home dad for my 6 children. It gets a little nuts. I've got 14 items to ship today. Well, I've got 14 orders to ship out. One of them is 5 items on Mercari. So my coffee's ready. Let's get into it. So far, Mercari's going fairly well. I sold 5 items to one person, and it was fairly cheap. It was $30 was the offer, but my list price was only $38. So that's $1.75 an item off, which is much better than the kind of offers that you get on eBay. Like this one, where I had a shirt listed for $17.99 free shipping, and somebody sent me an offer for $2.75 free shipping. Why would you waste your own time wasting my time like that? I just blocked him and didn't even respond. But on Mercari, where it's not all milk and honey, I know I'm having a pretty good experience so far, and mostly because it's almost like a garage sale, because I know that the $30 that I sell this stuff for is $30 in my pocket, and I don't have to do the mental math of, oh, well, I got, that's promoted at 4%, and that's, I got to pay 13.9%. Let's call it 20% to make the math easy. And then what's it going to cost me to ship it? And do I have free shipping, or are 2 of those free shipping and one of them's plus shipping? It's $30 in my pocket, and eBay or Mercari takes care of all the rest of it. I love that. And so I'm willing to take a lower offer because I don't have to do the mental gymnastics that I have to do to sell stuff on eBay. So anyway, these games that are virtually worthless and have been listed on eBay for a year, all of it. PS1 games that do not sell for much of anything. This is a sealed Shaun White Wii game, but it's worth like maybe $10. These couple of Xbox games. This controller might not have been listed. And then these definitely weren't listed on eBay any longer than they were listed on Mercari, but they sold on Mercari first. I paid $1.85 and $5 for these at Goodwill, and I thought, I'm overpaying, but they're so cool I don't want to leave them here. And then I just basically gave them away on Mercari, but I'll just put all of this stuff in one box, easy breezy beautiful, and ship it out. And that's my first order of the day, is this Mercari order. And evidently, you can set up shipping with weights and stuff. I just haven't been doing that because it's so easy to just list a handful of things, click sell. And I had 18 listings in the first day, and then I listed 9 video game things, and 5 of them all sold to the same person. I'm liking Mercari so far. Well, that's weird and unexpected. This item went UPS. I would have expected it to go Ground Advantage. I can drop at UPS. It's closer than anything else I could drive to, except for the grocery store. It's attached to the grocery store, and technically we live on the grocery store side of that complex. So, but it's as close as anything there is. So I can drop those at UPS. It's not quite as convenient as USPS. Let's pull some eBay orders. All right, so this hat, local hockey team, Peoria Rivermen. They used to be affiliated with the St. Louis Blues, but I think they've gotten knocked down to being not even considered a minor league, professional hockey anymore. Sold for, I have no idea where that came from. It's been around forever, and it sold for $7 plus shipping. Not a great pickup. In this box that you can't see, and I'm not going to hold them all up, there's a bunch of random The Babysitters Club. The Babysitters Club used to do really crazy well. It used to be like $3 a book that you could get for them. Now it's more like, I was going to say like $1 a book. These are 40. Free shipping for 35 books. And 35 books is not going to be cheap to ship. But I got them for like 30 cents a book. And these are the random ones. There was like 1 through 55 with only like 6 missing. And those went for really good money. And these are kind of the random leftovers. But there's a lot of really good books in there. Among, you know, good by Babysitters Club standards. This is a not working Sega Genesis controller. Part of that big buyout, $11 free shipping. But it's a not working controller. Like, it does work. Somebody's going to need to take it apart and clean the button contacts, because like the D-pad works, the start button works, and I think C, but A and B don't work. These are manga of the Bible. I didn't realize that's what they were when I picked them up. I paid 50 cents a piece for them at Goodwill, because that's what softcover books are at our Goodwill. And they sold, it took forever for them to sell. And they sold for $5 plus shipping. So so I think this is like Genesis and like the rest of, and like Kings and Chronicles and stuff. And then I think, or the rest of the Old Testament. And then I think there's a third one that is just the New Testament. And there's only 3 in the series, if I'm not mistaken. I know Bloomington Joe will be able to tell me more about that. But they don't sell for much, so I probably wouldn't pick them up again. Paid 50 cents for this, and I wasn't sure what it was. Obviously, it says Big Green Egg on it, and Big Green Egg is expensive stuff. I found one at the same time, exact same thing, but rather than saying Big Green Egg, it said Traeger. So it's like, well, this is some kind of grill accessory for expensive grills. And so I picked them up for 50 cents a piece. But when I was trying to figure out what they were, I used Google Image, and it brought this thing up and said that it was a chicken roaster something. I think you stick this into the cavity of the chicken, and then the chicken stands up, and you can either, I don't know if you put something in this like to steam into it, or if you put, or if like it gathers the juice. It doesn't matter. It's a thing. But when I looked it up on Google Image, and that's what I was going to say, was all of the results had a price of like $30 or $40 a piece for these things. So I was like, well, they must be worth somewhere around there, and I'm only paying 50 cents. So I got real high hopes, and then I got out to the car with them and realized they were mostly $15 free shipping on eBay, which is obviously the more reasonable price. And so I just listed them with the comps, but I was hoping that I was going to have $60, and I ended up with, for my dollar investment, I ended up with more like, what'll be like $15 after I'm all in and both of them are sold. These are Ray-Ban glasses. Ray-Ban. They say Ray-Ban right here. I don't think they say Ray-Ban on the lenses the way that like sunglasses do. But these are sold as frames. They are, they came with the store, I bought somebody else's store out. So I have less than $1 into them. Sold for $20 free shipping. I like buying glass frames. It's easy money. And you find some good ones with some frequency. This shirt I bought off of Whatnot, and it sold and got returned and sold again. No size tag in it. Cool 90s looking surfer motif there. $17.99 free shipping. Hats. There's a bunch of hats. Clydesdale. Budweiser. Made in the U.S., but not on a USA. It doesn't say made in the U.S. on the snap, which makes a difference for some people. Cool hat. This was one that I paid. I think this was one that was in the cheap box where it was only like $1.70 a piece. And I paid $7 a piece for a handful of hats. This hat was part of the store buyout, and it's fitted and reasonably small, but it is made in the U.S. and wool. So those are both important. 100% wool, made in the U.S. Even a 7 1/4 will sell a fitted hat. I mean, if this was a snapback, it'd have been worth significantly more because the market is bigger. But this was part of the store buyout, so I have less than $1 into it. It sold for $17 plus shipping to the same buyer who bought this. This I paid $1 for, and it was covered in like cobwebs at this estate sale. It does say made in the U.S. on the snap, if I can make you see that. And then it has a made in the U.S. tag. Not in great shape, but pretty cool. Chief Illini wick. People who are looking for Illinois stuff generally like to see the Chief on there rather than it just saying Illini. This is just an old snapback hat. Another Chicago sports team, or another, Illinois sports team. Same buyer bought both of these. And to go with their theme of Illinois-based sports teams, they bought, same buyer, bought these Jurassic Park toys. These were part of a box that I bought for $7, and I'd hoped that the command center pieces were going to be better. They were not. This is majorly incomplete. Little Matchbox playset, and I'll put up a picture. And here's a picture of what it's supposed to look like. But these sold for $20 plus shipping, and the buyer was plus shipping on all 3 items. And they paid, and I'll put them all together per eBay's suggestion. I skipped one. This I overpaid for. I think I paid $15 for this, hoping that it would work, and I just don't think that it does. I put batteries in it. It looks like it's on right now. It's got this weird LED screen. If you're not familiar with Beyblades, Beyblades are it's essentially battle tops. Most of the time you'd have a thing that kind of looks like this, and it would have a rip cord, and you'd pull the cord, top would spin and release the top, and then there's this essentially just a bowl so that the tops come together in the middle, and it's neat. My kids really like it. Even like my 4-year-old daughter likes it, and my 12-year-old son likes it, and they have all liked them in between, and they come and go as far as being in fashion and something that they play with and something that they don't, but they carry some value. If you find the deal with that is you could find a sandwich bag for $5, and it would have each of the things in it, and it has 15, would be worth $5, $6, $8 a piece. This working is a very rare launcher from when it first started, and would be worth $60 or $80. Not working, it's worth $14.40 plus shipping. So I don't remember for sure. I remember seeing it, and the guy's like, it's untested, and I was like, I bet it works, and I bet wrong. I lost on that bet. So I probably lost money buying that, but I paid it works money for it, and it doesn't work. I was gambling on it works. Centurion Defender of Rome. This is a complete in-box video game from the Sega buyout, and it sold $21.99 free shipping. I think I've got only a handful of games left. I think I might list those on Mercari 20% under where I'm at on eBay and see if they don't move fast, because a lot of the things that I've sold on Mercari have been video games. There's one hat, and the rest were all video games. But I only have hats and video games. I've only sold one hat. I've got a lot of hats listed. I've sold out of video games, I think, almost out of video games. So maybe I'll put some of those Sega games. And it's easy enough to just get into my phone, screenshot my eBay pictures, 2 or 3 of them, use that to put them on Mercari. Simple title, list, and I know how much money is going in my pocket because there are no selling fees. So if I think, oh, this sold for $20, this thing sold for $21, free shipping. Then I got to think, well, it's going to cost me $5 to ship it. Now we're at, it's $21.99. So let's say $22, $5 shipping puts me at $17 less 20% of the $25 that the buyer paid, because they had to pay tax and I have to pay fees on their tax. So then that $5, so that 17 then becomes 20% of 25 would be another $5. So I made $12. I'll make $12 on this. So if I post it on Mercari for $12, then the buyer pays 3.5% or whatever, and shipping. then they're probably lower than the 20 bucks that they would have had to pay on eBay. And I make the same money. So I think I'm going to do that with some of these and see if I can't get some money generated over there. I really, really like, I don't know if you guys can tell, I really like the concept of no fees and making, like, if the stuff would sell as fast, I wouldn't list anything on eBay anymore. Only because I know what I'm getting into, you know, like, I don't know what the cost is for the buyer, but I don't care what the cost is for the buyer. They either pull the trigger or they don't. I know I set my earnings, and it doesn't matter how far away they are. It doesn't matter what their, what percentage the category, promoted listings, all of that silliness. None of that is a factor when there's zero selling fees. So I can list this for $22 free shipping on eBay, or approximately $12. I'll print the label and we'll see how close I was on my $12 estimation. But if I can list it for $12 on Mercari or $22 on eBay, and it be the same money, and the buyer gets a better deal, I think that's a good way to go. And video games are an easy mark. It's not like I'm listing these kids' shoes that might find a buyer on eBay. New, old stock size baby shoe, Oxford by Deerstag. Those probably won't ever get listed because they're not worth listing. But you get what I'm saying? Mercari, like, I'm not sold on Mercari, but because I don't believe that the traffic is such that I would ever be able to make a living selling solely on Mercari. But the traffic is much more predictable on eBay. But if I could just get, you know, 20, if I was able to sell 20 items a day on Mercari, I would never list on eBay again. And I don't know how you get to that point, but yeah. All right, well, I get this stuff shipped.